It's time to code lists. Okay, let us go to a new Colab notebook, colab.research.google.com, and then click on that new notebook link. Okay, let's title this list. And I want to start with a fun example. Okay, here's the example. So create a list of planets from closest to furthest from the sun. So lists are in fact ordered. They are not designed like they have indices, so it makes sense that lists do in fact have an order. So let's go ahead and code this one together. Give you guys a chance to get a little bit of a head start. Start your list out. Think about, do you know the planets in order from the sun? You know, when I was in school, we used to memorize this type of thing. I don't know if these days people do that. It's certainly accessible if you want to look online, or you can code along with me. Okay, so I'm going to call it planets. And I put the equal operator. I'm going to assign a list to the variable planets here. So I use the bracket. That's the correct notation. I get that closed bracket for free. Now I go in there and I start putting in strings, okay? So Mercury, and then note the comma goes outside of the quotation because the element is inside the quotation, the string. Venus, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Hopefully I can get this right. Jupiter. This is interesting. My screen's going to run out. You can actually press return after the comma, and it's okay. Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So there's a list of planets in order from closest to furthest from the sun. Press Shift Enter. And still waiting. There we go. It works. It's okay. Now, some of you may be wondering, what about Pluto? Well, hey, Pluto was discovered a little bit later. Let's add it to the list. So planets.append Pluto. So .append, that's what it means. It means add it to the end of the list. And then every time I make a change, I always like to check, did the change go through, right? We saw before, if you do like some of the string methods, it doesn't go through unless you reassign. So let's make sure it went through by then calling the variable planets. Okay, Python will run one line then the other. And as you can see, it does show in a nice display all of the planets with Pluto on it. And by the way, that method that's shown there, the way those planets are displayed, is actually standard. Because what it is, it's a nice way of seeing everything, and specifically in order. Like it's just easier to see, I think, that Mars is the fourth planet there than it is up here. Okay, so what else can we do with this? Well, we could find out what's the third rock from the sun. So that would be the one with an index of 0, 1, 2, right? Because no, it's not, you start with 0. Press Shift Enter. What do you know? It's Earth. Pretty cool. Okay, what about the furthest? Well, the furthest would be the last one, -1. I think we know what that is. And we get Pluto. Now, someone else could say, no, wait a minute. Pluto's not a planet. I don't want Pluto on my list. Well, this is the fun thing about programming. You can decide on your own. You don't have to wait for the Astronomical Union to come down with a verdict. So 2 choices to remove Pluto. So you can do planets.remove and put Pluto in there. That will work. But you can also, and that would probably be the norm. But if you know it's last, see, here's the thing. If you know it's last, you can try this .pop. Okay, what does .pop do? Let's press Shift Enter and see if that's right. Oh my gosh, it pops out Pluto. it pops the last member of the list out. So if you look at planets now, oh, look, they fit it all in one line. You can see Pluto is not included. Okay. It has, in fact, been removed from the list. And one other little thing we can do is we can say, well, I know that, pretend you don't know the order, and maybe it's a huge list, right? And you're like, well, I want to know which number is Jupiter. How far out is Jupiter in the order of planets? Well, recall you can get the index. So planets.index. And by the way, note the dot notation, right, is going to show you there are only so many items with lists. Okay. And it's kind of nice in the sense that you could probably learn them all. So planets.index and then Jupiter. And we see it is an index of 4, right? Meaning that it is in fact the 5th element from the list. And how many planets do we have all together? Let's find the length. Go ahead and type that in. Length of the planets. What's it going to be, right? When I grew up, it was different. It's 8 without Pluto. And there you have it. So there are some introductory notes on lists.